What is up, everyone? Dan here, Crypto Capital Venture, February 24th, 2020. Bitcoin, $9,500 right now, testing $9,500. I want to talk about that in this video. If you're a replay viewer, thank you for coming by. Go to the timestamps if you want to see when this video starts on the charts. I'll jump into the charts, but I do want to confirm that you can hear me. If anyone's here right now, just press 1 if you can hear me. It means a lot. I have this new mic. I actually don't think I've done a live stream yet with this mic. So if you're in the comments, please let me know if you can hear me. Thank you. There it is. This is the 4-hour chart. I want to just real quick show you a tweet. I said, don't do it, Bitcoin. Don't do it, Bitcoin. As you see on the charts, there's a head and shoulders in play. It's a daily chart. And I want to say this. We can look, and here's the head and shoulders on the daily chart. You know, we can look at any chart like this one, potential head and shoulders. We're approaching that neckline. What's going to happen? Are we going to make a break down to a target of like $8,200? We can talk about that, right? We have to talk about that if we're covering technical analysis. But I do want to say this. When you start zooming out on the charts, you definitely have more than one pattern in play. There are, at any given time, so many different patterns in play for Bitcoin. 4-hour chart, the daily chart, the weekly chart. There are these small time frame 4-hour setups that look bearish. There are these daily bearish setups like the one we're in that suggest potentially the low 8,000s are happening potentially. But then there are weekly charts and patterns that are incredibly bullish. And I'm talking about incredibly bullish. That is a long-term trend of Bitcoin. It's kind of why I'm long-term bullish, and I think many of you are. It's due to the weekly charts and the daily chart zoomed out. And as you can see, here is the daily chart zoomed out, and it looks bullish. Right now, if you realize we're at 9,500, we bounced off 10,000. When you're zoomed in on a 4-hour chart, it's kind of stressful. And if you're on Twitter and if you're on YouTube and if you're looking at these $500, downtrends, it looks a little stressful. You're like, man, is Bitcoin ever going to like make a break for it? But then you zoom out on the daily chart and you see where all this 4-hour madness is happening, and you can see it looks literally like nothing. I always say it's like crickets when you zoom out on the chart, because it is like crickets. If you're here right now, thanks for coming by, everybody. I appreciate you hanging out. I'm trying to do a quick live stream. Hit the like button if you came in, and hit the like button, especially if you're still long-term bullish. We have a little downtrend today. It's really not that big of a deal in my opinion. So we looked at that head and shoulders on this daily chart. It's potentially in play. I want to say below that head and shoulders, if we look at the 4-hour chart, we can look at some things, right? We have very key areas to just watch out for, right? So we know that head and shoulders on the daily chart breakout target is like pretty much down here, right? Below a lot of key areas of support. But what I want to say is this. We do have this support. And time again, if we go back to that chart, and let me just put this on the screen so it's easy to see. Head and shoulders, if this plays out, time and time again, we've seen Bitcoin. We've seen it. We've seen busted head and shoulders. We have a head and shoulder setup. We even get a break below the neckline, and then we get a bounce and a revisit at the neckline, and then we break the neckline, and we have a busted head and shoulders right when this right shoulder's broken, busted head and shoulders with a target the same as the head and shoulders target, the height of the head to neckline. And so in this case, we're talking about 11,000 plus, which is a target that we've had on this channel anyway. So please keep in mind, there is potential for a busted Bitcoin head and shoulders too. And you can't like discount the possibilities. You have to be prepared for everything. And I feel like I should just take 10 seconds and say, be prepared for anything. Like, nobody knows. We can do technical analysis all day long. I love it. It's fun. Plus, it really helps you prepare to buy dips, right? We look for those oversold scenarios. We look for support scenarios. But be prepared that it could go any way. Where are you in your portfolio? Where do you want to be? Are you comfortable if Bitcoin makes a move down to the low 8,000s? Are you comfortable if Bitcoin takes off and we never see sub $10,000 again? I think at the end of the day, that's the question we need to ask. So, looking back at the charts, we see the possibilities. There's a head and shoulders potential, low 8,000s, but there's also a busted head and shoulders. Rob said your other link is still up. People are waiting in there. Yeah, I have no idea what YouTube does. So here's that other link. I have no idea. I'm live streaming from a third party site, so I feel bad for those people. Shoot. We happen to be on the 77 days countdown to Bitcoin halving. And back to the 4-hour chart, talking about these support areas. They're major support areas, right? And we have the 50 daily moving average right here at 9,100. And look, we talked about there's so many patterns in play. Here's a 4-hour falling wedge that has a swing high like February 12th, a couple weeks ago. We could be playing that out, right? We can get perfect support here at the 50 daily moving average at the bottom of this falling channel, and we can get a bounce, right? And that can be the bullish bounce out of that wedge and then back up above 10,000. There are so many different scenarios in play right now. It's actually incredible. It's actually incredible to me that anybody tries to predict what's going to happen in these markets because it's so unknown, right? I think that is why I love so much the macro, right? We like to zoom out on the charts, and here's the daily chart zoomed out to get a really clear idea of what's going on. And this leads me to something that I want to talk about. What is Bitcoin doing in terms of this longer term cycle, right? Everybody's trying to pinpoint, did the bull market start yet? Are we in the bull market yet? When's it going to start, right? And I would say 70% of people think that the bull market, we're in it. And that's fine. I have my own reasons why I do not think we're in it until we're trading higher highs and higher lows above 13,000 to 16,000, that channel. But that's neither here nor there. What I want to talk about, though, is the timing of these cycles. So I have on the screen double bottom low last bear market versus this new setup that we have. And I have 2020, but it's really 2019, 2020. So I want to talk about what's happening with this 50 moving average cross above the 200 moving average. So this is one thing that is really different in terms of that last cycle. The bottom of that last bear market, we had 250 moving average crosses above the 200, and they happened very quickly, right? We have one and then two, and it's a double bottom. If you look at this chart, it's a double bottom reversal. It just looks very nice. And when you're trading 50 moving average cross above 200 moving average, it is extremely popular to get that confirmation within a double bottom, right? So you have this double cross. That's like a perfect illustration of a reversal. So that actually was probably very helpful at the bottom of that last bear market. Now, if we go to this previous bear market low, Bitcoin didn't do that. So, and this is the biggest thing we've talked about on this channel in terms of Bitcoin this time around in this cycle. Bitcoin just like flew out of the bear market. Like we are way ahead in terms of how quickly Bitcoin moved out of the last bear market. So last time Bitcoin was kind of just like this, fail. And then it gets the double cross and then it's like slowly going up. This time around, Bitcoin just flew out. So when we're seeing so much volatility since that swing high in June, I believe a lot of that has to do with the speed in which Bitcoin just overextended itself. Bitcoin was up very quickly, and everybody remembers the ride up to that swing high in June. So right now, Bitcoin's in a consolidation phase, and I know I have a lot of patterns on this screen, but it's just because this is what it looks like, especially the picture of consolidation we have within these symmetrical triangles, right? And so, namely, we have this smaller symmetrical triangle that we are kind of in since the June swing high, right? And I think this is just a really good illustration of Bitcoin consolidating after seeing so much massive gains, right? And now we're finally getting this other 50 moving average cross above the 200 moving average. Interestingly enough, if you zoom out on these daily charts, and I have them in green, 1, 2, we can go back to the last bear market, 3, 4, here at the, like, right in the beginning of last bear market, 5, and then all the way back in 2012, we have potentially kind of a 6, the 50 moving average cross above the 200. It's pretty interesting, isn't it, to zoom out on the charts and see that we don't have that many 50 moving average crosses above the 200 moving average, right? There's not a ton of data in all of these years of Bitcoin. And why is that? Bitcoin's just in like this continued parabolic uptrend where you see a lot of the time for years, the 50 moving average is just chilling right above the 200 moving average, right? And that's the environment we want to be in. That's the environment all of us, not all of us, but I think a lot of us are here for, those parabolic environments, right? So we're looking for that separation of the 50 from the 200. And right now we're finally getting this, like, what did I say? Did I say 5 or 6 50 moving average cross above the 200 moving average? So, and here we are. We're in this consolidation phase, and really to bring it back together, look at this symmetrical triangle. Like, we have this bottom trend line that is from April 2019, that first like massive swing high, right? Back in April, first touch. We have a few touches down here back in December area. We have the upper trend line, right? We have this swing high that we're just coming out of. There's 100% potential for Bitcoin to come back down here. And this is like 7,000s. And if you're zoomed out on the charts, it actually, it's not fun. Like, I don't want Bitcoin to go down to $7,500. I don't want that to happen. I never want to see I never want to see sub 10,000 again. I'm with you. But like, if you're looking at the charts, if we're just zoomed out, it just makes sense. It would be kind of a normal move, in my opinion, if Bitcoin was like, okay, I'm going to consolidate back down now to this lower trend line. I'm going to set up for the halving and a bullish move in the bullish symmetrical triangle continuation. And then we're going to, consolidate into halving and break out, right? That could 100% be what happens. We all need patience for a scenario like that. You look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin didn't break out until the last halving out of this, huge symmetrical triangle, right? It was after last halving, months after last halving, finally breaking through. It was actually, if you zoom out, 76% to the apex of this massive triangle. And if you look at where 76% of the apex of this massive triangle is, we're looking at, July area, right? And that's, again, months after the Bitcoin halving. So you can see how our patience can very well be tested. And, I'm in the same boat as you. I always have to like reel it back in. I have to mentally like reevaluate the situation. I think a lot of us, when we start getting uptrends in Bitcoin, like we've recently had since December, and really just for this year, we've had a nice uptrend. We want it to keep going, right? Like, we do want it to keep going. We want to see new all-time highs, but I think we're kind of dreaming in that sense where, no, there might be a little bit more patience needed, right? Especially as we are 77 days away from the halving. There's so much bullishness happening for Bitcoin right now, but I think in terms of like when it happens, we just need to be a little bit more patient. I think that's all it is. And we can have some fun with it in the meantime. We can actually talk about a $7,500 Bitcoin, and it doesn't have to be failure. There will be so many bears coming out. There will be so many tweets coming out if Bitcoin tests even $9,000 again. But at the end of the day, it's really not, weird or abnormal for Bitcoin to do that. So, and listen, I'm not doing this video. I'm not saying like we're going to test those areas. I'm not like, we're down. What is Bitcoin down? Like 5%, right? I'm not saying that just because we're down here, Bitcoin's going to test 7,000s and put in, a higher low on the symmetrical triangle. But I am just saying, just be prepared for it, right? So 4-hour chart, here's what happened. We did the video yesterday. We had that swing high that we had back in February 19th or so to swing low. We did the video yesterday in real time as we saw resistance here. We said if this breaks, look for a bullish move, but this is huge resistance for Bitcoin. And yeah, we clearly just bounced right off that mental 10,000, confluent with this upper trend line, confluent with this Fibonacci resistance channel, just so much resistance there. We've come down. It's down 5%. Let's see what happens. We still have the 50 daily moving average at 91 for support. And we might not even get there. Bitcoin can, bounce back. So time will tell. We will see. I wanted to do a quick live stream on it. At the end of the day, I'm not going to sit here and tell you what's going to happen because I have no idea, right? Don't listen to YouTubers and what's going to happen next. I provide the data for you. I have my thoughts on what might happen next. I have my thoughts on where support is. I have my thoughts on where a good buy zone would be if we get a further dip for Bitcoin. But sit back, think about where you are financially, think about where you are in your portfolio, and think about the potential for upside or downside. We have our targets for both, right? And just figure out how you want to handle it. How do you want to handle yourself? Think for yourself. Do your own research. You will benefit so much by doing that. I can do my best, just have fun with it, provide the data for you. And that's kind of what we're doing. I'm growing in this with you, and I truly appreciate you all coming by today. I got to get back to work. Such a busy day today, but I appreciate you. 30,000 subscribers, everybody. Hit the like button, right? Let's celebrate that with just smashing the like button. I appreciate each and every one of you out there subscribed. You really make this enjoyable for me, right? We're trying to grow into that this bull market, this next bull market, and it really makes it fun to do these live streams, to do these videos, and to really just watch Bitcoin. I appreciate you. I will see you in the next video. Have an awesome day, and God bless.